All right, so who am I? What am I doing talking here? How can I help you? These are all questions that I'm going to answer just as soon as I can get my bearings, because as you can imagine, talking to a camera does not come naturally to many, I being one of those many. So my name is Jared. I am an occupational therapy assistant that is currently in graduate school to be an occupational therapist. Why am I talking to you? You're probably asking, and the answer to that question is really, I don't know. I really don't know what I'm doing here, to be honest. In part, I think it's to hold myself responsible for what I am about to say, as well as help others along a journey that might not be so easy, clear-cut, or laid out ahead of them. In a world where graduate school talks about it, but doesn't really, I don't think, do it justice. And just to prove that it's possible, because I think more often than not, what happens is people dream. You might be going to graduate school, you might be in college, you might be dreaming, and then life happens and you realize this is going to be much harder than I anticipated, and now I have these other hard things to deal with on top of it, and so I'm going to kind of fumble that dream, kind of let it go, and it always just kind of sits in the back of your mind, especially towards the end of your life, where you're asking yourself questions such as, could this have worked out? What if I would have tried a bit harder? What if somebody would have laid the path for me? What could I have become? What could I have done? Who could I have helped, perhaps? So on and so forth. The list goes on, and I'm not going to bore you with that, and I realize that you don't even know why you're listening to this video yet, and I'm not even per se here to hold your attention, I don't think, as much as I am to hold myself accountable for what I'm about to talk about. And so what is it? What's the point of what I've been rambling about here? I, as someone that is a coda, a whole nother year until graduation, want to open a very successful private practice so that I can feel fulfillment in my job, so that I can provide for my family in a way that I could not as a, quote unquote, day-to-day occupational therapist. As many people that do this that are out there, even the ones that talk about it, nobody really lays the path for you, especially not without putting a paywall in front of it. And so I just think that it would be very helpful for you, and it would be extremely helpful for somebody in my shoes years down the line to see somebody do this from step one to step infinite, from A to Z, not only to see that it is possible, but to see how they got there. So now I've kind of answered the question as to like, what am I doing here? What is the conversation about? And now I want to talk about how I plan to do this. So I think step one, most importantly, is that I am reading a numerad of literacy. Literacy is probably the wrong word. I'm reading a lot of literature regarding how to open a private practice so that when the time comes, I will be fully prepared, whether that be taking steps now with a year until graduation, whether that be taking my first step the day after graduation, the day after I've passed my board exam, so on and so forth. I will be prepared to do so, so that I can recommend to you, hey, these are the books that I would read because they provided me with enough insight to take that first step ASAP. Or hey, so-and-so said this is a good book to read. I don't necessarily think so, but that doesn't mean that you won't find critical information in there for your scope of practice or what you're aiming to do. And so I'm currently in the middle of a book that I'm finding to be pretty beneficial, I would say. And so, as soon as I'm done with that, I will compile, a list of things that I liked, didn't like, upload a video about it, say whether or not I think you guys should read this, and how I will move forward utilizing the information from that book in order to make myself, or at least the chances of making myself, more successful. What else can I say? I guess a little bit more information about me. So obviously I'm a man, and I think that catches some people off guard when we're talking occupational therapy, because men are not the primary gender of this occupation. It's definitely female dominated. I do not have statistics pulled up. I could have started this video more prepared, but I felt like if I didn't start the video now, I might not have. So you can do that looking on your own time, I suppose, if you're interested. I am every bit of 25 years old, so that puts me at graduating not long after 26, and I have a whole roadmap laid out, probably unrealistic, probably something that will have to be revisited often, both before, during, and after all of this reading that I'm about to embark on. But I have an idea as to the timeline for which I would like this to take place. Other things that are kind of going for me, my wife is also an occupational therapy practitioner. She's a DPT. I said DPT. What am I talking about? A DOT. She's the best. She's very interested in pelvic health, which I think is going to lean heavily in her and I's direction when we really start this thing. Like I mentioned, I have another year of school, and so this is not something that is going to just explode from here. You know, maybe there are some things that I can do before I graduate that are going to put me in a place where I have a higher likelihood of success, but you know, kind of opening and practicing right now isn't necessarily an option for me. Truthfully, I really think that that's about it. I really kind of just wanted to get my feet wet with this conversation in this video, kind of give myself a better idea as to like what I can expect from sitting in front of a camera, because it doesn't feel very normal. And you know, I'm excited. This is exciting to me. Whether or not people watch this now, or maybe it becomes more popular in 5 years when everything is said and done, or at least I'm done making videos and focusing fully on a practice, I hope that this is able to benefit somebody. And at the end of the day, I think that this is mostly just going to be beneficial for myself, because it will hold me more accountable. And I think that in time I will look forward to sitting down and making these videos, because I think that it will be a progress log for me, or sit down and watch in 5+ years and say, hey, you know, I did what I needed to do in order to be successful in the way that I wanted to be successful. And hopefully I was able to help some others along the way. So, you know, if you were one of the few if you are one of the few people to be watching this or have watched this, you know, I implore you, if you're not going to watch this, to stick true to your ambition, to work hard for it. It's not going to be an easy road, obviously. I think that everybody knows that, but it's the ones that can accept that, move forward with the information they've got, and really work their tail off that make something of themselves, at least in the realm of entrepreneurship and private practice in occupational physical speech therapy. So, you know, I appreciate you, and I look forward to doing this again.